Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 20 of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Jashin sealed inside of him. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Legendary Neglected Uzumaki over on Anime King. And also stay tuned for a brand new episode of Anime King 3. Yes, if you're new, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that or subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, we'll just say begin this new episode. Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, the Hinata, the people there was worried. Minato had shown it once again. Over the past couple of years, Minato has been peaceful. So many people thought that his strength was diminishing, but he proved it to them once again when he slaughtered all the remaining sand and sound ninjas that were left in Konoha. The ones that did escape ran to their village. As rumors started to go around about Naruto and the village and about what happened, as the San had to make peace quickly. They were going to act on the kind-hearted of Minato, the kind-hearted part. That was the only way they saw they could save their skin out of all of this. Yes, meanwhile at Konoha, as Menma had woken up 3 days late, seeing that Naruto almost removed all of the beast power from him. His body didn't react well, and he needed time to heal, but he was fine. He still had enough to keep him alive, but he was terribly weak. Hinata came inside as she was comforting, there for him. Menma was told about what happened to Konohamaru, as Naruto did it on purpose just to piss him off. As he swore to himself that he will find and kill Naruto one way or another. He would never let this go unpunished. Meanwhile, Sasuke was silent. He has been ever since, refusing to talk much to people around him. After hearing about what happened, his mind was just preoccupied about what Naruto did. It was then that the blinds shut, and his room became rather dark, and he saw a man appeared with a mask, a strange mask on his face, with a single eye hole. As Sasuke peered into the eye hole, he saw something that surprised him. The eye, it belonged to Uchiha. There was a Sharingan in there. Meanwhile, Minato just came out of the hospital room where the children were. The black substance, that smoke, it had put the rest of the kids in a coma, and it was coursing through their veins, affecting their bodies in negative ways. As Minato gave Jiraiya the mission to get Tsunade back here, he was not asking this time. As Kushina decided to tag along as well, she can more convince her as well, before things turn out rather hard on her, because Minato needed her here, and that was final, as Kushina told him to get some rest. The people need him at his best. As you could see it on his face, he looked worn out, he looked stressed out, he looked exhausted. Constant moving around and not resting was not good for anyone. Meanwhile, Naruto and Gaara had made their way towards Yoshigakure, where they met Hidan and all of his mad followers. Jashin spoke to Hidan, as Hidan felt the presence of his god. He immediately started to follow answers from Naruto, but Jashin reminded him that she was the one in charge here, as Hidan nodded. But he will follow Naruto's lead, but Jashin seemed to be planning something else. Something that was affecting her more than she thought it would, as Naruto told Hidan to spread the influence as much as possible, as he looked rather delighted about it, as Hidan saw the crazy look in Naruto's eyes. Someone who's as crazy and bloodthirsty as him to praise their lord, Hidan loved it. With that, Naruto and Gaara made their way straight towards the Hidden Stone, where Kurotsuchi was come for a mission. The news had spread about the one boy that was able to defy the fourth Hokage and leave unscathed, and not to mention cause damage to Konoha. But Kurotsuchi saw him, there was look in his eyes. He was just going to be a problem for her village, so she would put him in his place right here and now. As arrogant as she was, she tried to stop him, and her arrogance got the better of her when she felt claws digging into her back. As Naruto smirked, this was better than he thought. To find her was a delight. Naruto brought her headband back towards the village, where she had inscribed her initial in it, her arrogance once again showing, just because she was the said to be future Tsuchikage. As Naruto tossed it to one of the guards, the man's eyes went wide when he recognized whose headband it was after seeing the initial. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. The village was on fire. Crying of pain, anguish could be heard as Minma was on his knees. He couldn't do much, he couldn't move. His body seemed to be broken down to the point where he was literally unable to do anything. He was crying. "No, don't you dare," he said. Standing in front of him was the one and only Naruto. Hinata found herself bound. Not because she was tied up or anything, but yet her body refused to move. As Naruto placed a gentle kiss on her lips. Once again that feeling, that rush spread through her body like a warmth. And her face got happy as she smiled. "I told you, Minma, I would take everything away from you," said Naruto. "I know I'm taking the one that you love the most." Hinata looked towards Minma. "I'm sorry, but I don't love you," she said. "And I want to be with Naruto." As Minma's eyes turned angry and hateful. As Naruto looked towards Hinata. "Prove it to me. Prove it to me that you only want me alone." Bye. As he gave her a kunai, she grabbed onto the hilt of the kunai, holding onto it, ending his life. She gulped. "Hinata, you can't do this. After everything, you're telling me that you felt nothing at all. You're choosing him over me. I know you're gonna kill me," he said. Hinata stepped forward, her hand shaking, before Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder. "If you don't, I'll leave, and you'll never see me again. Choose," he said. "I'm sorry," she said, as she looked towards Minma. She moved forward as Minma's eyes went wide. As she raised her hand, Hinata jumped out of bed, panting. As she held onto her heart, panting, her body was trembling, cold sweat on her brow. As she sat there, sitting up in bed, looking around, what the hell was wrong with her? Constant dreams after dreams about her choosing his side. What was her mind, what was her psyche thinking? She couldn't do something like that. She couldn't betray the village, her clan. She couldn't betray everyone that she loved. Yet her mind refused to stop thinking about him. He did so much. He slaughtered the Uchiha clan and killed so many people. And before he left, he told her that he'll be coming back for what he wants, and that is her. But she wouldn't let that happen. She couldn't leave Minma, not in this time. Not after everything he did. Perhaps Minma was right. He just needed to die. Once he was dead and gone, then all of them would be fine. But why? Why didn't she like that thought at all? Why didn't? Hearing that he was gonna die made her feel happy after everything he did. No, it actually made her feel kind of sad. Something that she hated about herself at the moment. She got out of bed as she made her way to get a glass of water. After doing so, she returned as she just sat down. She needed to stop doing this. Her thinking about him is affecting her relationship with Minma. How could she go on while thinking about someone else while being with Minma, the person that Minma hates so much, the person that caused Konoha so much problem, the person that killed and slaughtered without a second thought? He was a monster, and she needed to stop it immediately before things get out of hand. As she sat down, her shaky hands drinking the water, yet as she tried, her mind still went back to what he said, that he was coming back for what he wanted. Her trembling hands went around her chest as she held on to herself. She hadn't even told anyone about that. Meanwhile, at the hidden stone, it was nighttime. After all, when he came to the village, it was already bristling into darkness. But now it was extremely late in night. Yet, the place couldn't be more lively. He was in a secret place, as far as he saw it. There were so many seals tightly packed around the place. It was like a damping era for ancient Julkis. Well, he had told the world, so suppose by now everyone's supposed to know. He had came willingly, not by force. He didn't slaughter their people because he just wanted to talk. Well, at first, if things were going to go out of hand, he might as well kill the Tishikagi, and then go on to plan B. Yes, a plan that will start something else. Something that will be a lot more fun. Naruto-kun, the seals are preventing you from talking to the Kyuubi. But don't worry, I'm still here with you. And these seals, they cannot hold you, she said. As Naruto smiled, I wasn't worried. You're with me, said Naruto. And I'm never worried once you're here. As she smiled in the mindscape, well, I'll make sure no one harm you. After all, you're my precious Naruto-kun, she said, with a smile on her face. Yet the smile faltered a bit, thinking about her future actions as Jashin knew what she was gonna have to do, yet this lingering feeling still bothered her. She's never felt this way before. It angered her. But she was going to show it to him now. She couldn't. The door opened up as Naruto's hands were bound to the table. They were covered by some thick gloves. Gloves over his entire hand that had seal all over them. And the gloves were attached to chains that chained down on the table, not giving him much space to move. His legs were also shackled on the chair, the hard iron chair. As he simply sighed, was all of this really necessary? He thought. He then turned towards the door as a person entered. A rather short man, not looking so threatening. Who the hell are you? Said Naruto. The man narrowed his eyes. You step into my village and ask me that question. Naruto blinked, caught completely off guard. Wait, you're Tishikagi, he said. In fact, he never saw the man before. After all, he didn't know how the man looked. There was no pictures of him inside Konoha. The only thing he knew about the man was the man had a deep, seething hatred for his father because of what his father did in the war. And countless of times ninjas had tried to attack his father until the man put a flea on sight order on his father's head, saying that his father had basically slaughtered them the moment they tried anything against him. There was a reason why he was known as Yellow Flash after all. I must say, I'm disappointed by your appearance. Keep talking and see where that gets you, said Onoki. He looked at Naruto with that glare that would have sent any other and lesser man begging and pleading to not be killed. But for someone who had stand up to the might, feeling the bloodlust and hatred from the Kyuubi, and feeling the presence of death from Jashin, it was just like a tinkle running across his nose. Well, said Naruto, I guess your appearance doesn't mean much when you have the skill to back it up. I heard you're quite the formidable shinobi. We're not here to talk about that, said Onoki. We're here to talk about where Kurotsuchi is. Oh, skipping straight to it, huh? Well, I have her, said Naruto. I figured that much when you hand over her headband. What have you done with her? Do you know who I am, said Naruto. Of course I do. You're that little brat that managed somehow to attack the village and slaughter so many. Not to mention, I heard you slaughtered the Uchiha clan. Fill me in on my curiosity. Is that correct? Oh yes, this, said Naruto. Not to mention you went around killing people in the village, your own village. Do you really hate your village and your father that much? Oh, you wouldn't even know, said Naruto, acting rather casually, as Onoki narrowed his eyes at the boy. What do you want? There must be a reason why you stepped foot in here, knowing there was a good chance you might not leave here alive. You wouldn't kill me, said Naruto. And why wouldn't I, said Onoki. Not even kill you, rip the 9 tails out of you. Oh, so you heard about that as well. Onoki simply laughed. I must say you're quite stupid to step foot inside my village. Despite taking my granddaughter, you brought yourself in here with a power that is so vicious than most to hand it over to the Hidden Stone. Well, I wasn't planning on taking your granddaughter, but she's quite arrogant. You must know that arrogance get Shinobi's killed. But from what I'm seeing, you're the most arrogant of them all, stepping into my village without any backup or anyone to help you. Oh, it's not arrogance. When you can back it up by yourself, it's not arrogance, said Naruto. First of all, I won't harm her. As long as you listen to me, I am not going to take demands or hear what the word of a child. A child, you see. Perhaps my figure does say that, as Naruto looked at his hands. But I must say, you're a short, old man. So, compared to the both of us, your figure is rather pathetic. Onoki scoff, you think just because you taunt me, I'm gonna argue with you. You're nothing but a child. I'm still surprised how you were able to one-up Minato like that. For that I kind of respect you, for causing so much chaos to leave. But I assure you it was a big mistake coming here, because you're not gonna leave here. Oh, I am, said Naruto. Because if I don't, what? You're gonna threaten my granddaughter, Onoki said. Kurotsuchi's a kunoichi. She knew what the feel. She knew what was gonna happen once she took on the headband. She knew that some situations, Shinobi's life had to be sacrificed for their village. Oh, that's not what I'm talking about. I really don't give a damn about her. The reason I'm holding her at the moment is because of what she did. She underestimated me. So I decided to slap the shit out of her, Naruto. And, well, she passed out. After that, I just gave her to someone. But the real reason I'm talking about is not because I have your granddaughter, not because I'm threatening you. The thing is, I am going to be leaving here. And I want to make a friend out of you instead of an enemy. And why the hell would I do that, Onoki said? Why, simply not take what you have to offer and leave you nothing but an empty, dead husk on the ground. Because, old man, said Naruto, as he picked himself up. Oniki's eyes narrowed as the bindings started to rot away. As Naruto freed his hand, much better. The room door burst open as envoys flooded inside. Onoki narrowed his eyes. How? As he looked at the walls, the seals, everything was intact. How did he just... Look, you have an army, and from what I hear, you're so vengeful on getting Konoha to bend to your whims. You will do practically anything. So that is why I want to make you a deal. Let's join forces. I have the insights on Konoha, not to mention I know how to kill Minato. I haven't spent the past couple of years doing nothing. And I assure you, as much as you want that man dead, I want it even worse. But I can't just go gun blazing inside. I need an army. I need supplies. Need men. And you're the perfect person to provide that. Or, I could go to Kumo. But you hate Minato more. Onoki narrowed his eyes. How did you get free, he asked. Well, that's the thing. I'm not really normal, as you might say. Yes, I've heard about your special quirks of showing abilities that look rather demonic. Is it because of the fox inside of you? Well, a shinobi can't always give away all their secrets now, said Naruto. But tell me something, how do you plan to survive in here, Onoki asks? Despite everything, you're simply a mere boy. I am sure that Minato did not fight you one-on-one, and even if he did, I feel like he held back, just because you were his son. But I, on the other hand, I have no such qualms, said Onoki. As Naruto sighed, as he released a breath, a short breath, the ninja saw darkness seep from his body, forcing Onoki to move back. One of them moved in to stop Naruto at Tonto, switching towards Naruto next so fast. Naruto reached and grabbed it as he unhinged his jaw, and he screamed, releasing a toxin black smoke from his mouth that sprayed into the envoy's face, going into his man's eye holes. The man's pulse as dark tentacles came from Naruto and whipped around the room, stopping the others from intervening. The envoy that he held onto trembled as he dropped to his knees screaming as something went pop in his head. The man then straightened up back as he launched towards his own friends, pulling out his Tonto as they had to move in to protect their Tsuchikage as he brought up their blades and stabbed right through him to stop him. He hunched over dead until he laughed. He pushed himself deeper on their blade, getting close to them as he used his tanto to tear their throats open. As Onoki watched the brutality, he raised his hand as a cube formed around the man. He wasted no time as the cube incinerated the man. He turned towards Naruto as Onoki felt it. A hand on his shoulder. He felt like he was being pulled into the empty abyss of death. Coldness wrapped his body. His soul shriveled. His anguish, his pain. At that moment he felt so many emotions, it was maddening just by a single touch. Onoki leaped away from Naruto, sweat pouring down his forehead. As he looked at Naruto who stand there calmly as ever. As I said, I'm not really normal. You and your forces, well, you have enough. And that is what I need, said Naruto, looking at the corpses on the ground. The remaining envoys that were inside looked towards their leader who raised his hand stopping them. This would be senseless death. In this close space, this boy was really deadly up close. Onoki was still Akagi. Akagi was still better than a mere brat. Onoki could disintegrate him, he thought. But there was just something about this boy. He had no fear, that was the thing. He didn't fear him. Standing in the Hidden Stone village, where he knew he could be overrun by ninjas by the manpower, he did not fear anyone here. As Naruto sat back down calmly. So, as I said, it will be better if you have me as a friend than an enemy, said Naruto. Because we both want the same thing, you see. We want the village hidden in leaves to burn. We want Minato dead. Well, I want more people dead, but you just want Minato. After all, he did massacre your people. I mean, how weak is your village? One man taking down thousands of shinobis. I mean, I just simply stepped foot in here, and I already killed a couple of your envoys. You know, you guys are really pathetic, said Naruto. I mean, why did I even come here in the first place? Perhaps this was just a waste of my time. Perhaps you're not even worthy enough. Perhaps the stone will just never compare to Konoha. Perhaps I need to go to Kumo. Be quiet, Onoki said. You don't know what you're talking about. The Hidden Stone has grown over the past couple of years. And your qualms does not entice me. Why would I join someone like you? That is not to be trusted. You live in Konoha for so long and yet you did that to Konoha. What reassurance must I have that you won't try to turn against me with the way you are right now? You, from what I can see, are nothing but a cold-blooded monster. Well, you're right about that. I am a monster, said Naruto. But a monster with power, and a monster with the means to get what he wants. And a monster that knows how to kill Minato to completely stop the Hiroshin. Onoki paused at that. You foolish child. You really expect me to believe something like that? Well, think about it. How did I leave Konoha? How did I manage to escape after revealing all that I did? Even as my father, some things are just unforgivable. I mean, I killed so many. I done so much. I slaughtered an entire clan. Do you really underestimate me that much? Perhaps I should slaughter everyone here. As Naruto looked around, outside this building, to make you see that I'm not supposed to be underestimated. You make a single step and I turn you into ash, Onoki said. I should already be taking your head for the stunt you just pulled. Then why haven't you? As Onoki glared at the boy. I mean, your seals aren't working so far. What if I was to release the Nine Tails right in your village? What would happen then? I wouldn't give you the chance, Onoki said. Was that so? Said Naruto. Well, we can be enemies. But I assure you, if we are, Konoha won't be the only place I destroy. So, you're threatening me. While inside my village, I must say, you're the most cockiest person I ever met before. Cocky and stupid. Oh, I told you before, I'm not cocky, said Naruto. I just know what I can do. And to be quite blunt with you, you don't scare me. Neither does your village. Nothing here perhaps scares me. As Onoki narrowed his eyes, he saw that from the beginning, the boy wasn't afraid of anything, but why not? So, I'm gonna make you a deal. Help me. Lend me your military strength. and we can both watch Konoha burn together. I just need a little bit of time. Right now, my meeting with you is silent to the world, so Minato will have no idea. But we won't strike now. Just give it a couple of years. Years? Onoki says in Naruto's eyes. Oh good, you're thinking it over. I am not, Onoki said. I just want to know what the hell you're planning. And how this would affect my village. And I want to know if I have to kill you right here and now. As Naruto sighed, well, believe what you want. I'm gonna go off the grid for a while, making people think that I'm probably dead. Then I'll return. Faster, stronger, better. Something rather dangerous to this entire elemental nation. And everyone needs allies. And it would be rather healthy if you and I are allies. I mean, you will have a strong foe to help your village, who can go around poisoning and slaughtering other nations and people that stand in your way. Because as I said, I fear no one. And with my help, perhaps you can even conquer the elemental nation. Yes? And what the hell do you want? Onoki asks. Me? Oh, it's quite simple. I want to kill my family with my own hands, to rip out their beating heart and look at it, said Naruto. Onoki was surprised at the coldness that entered the boy's tone. And why should I believe any of this? Believe what you want, said Naruto. But as a sign of good faith, I'll return your granddaughter to you. I apologize for your envoys, but they attacked me first. And I won't kill anyone else, as long as we come to a little arrangement. Onoki narrowed his eyes. He just looked at Naruto, who simply smiled. A calm smile, no fear in his eyes, despite the hundreds of ninjas outside who was waiting to kill him at any moment notice. So what do you say, said Naruto. Do we have a deal? Bring back my granddaughter first, and I'll think about it. And who said you didn't love her, said Naruto. As he reached down toward his stomach, as he placed his hand on his stomach, nothing happened as he removed his hand. What was that? Onoki said. Give it a few minutes, said Naruto, as he sat back down. Onoki just watched him, as he waited, narrowing his eyes at Naruto, who refused to talk. He just sat there, like the world was ignorant to him. Onoki was just waiting. A part of him wanted to just incinerate this boy to nothingness, but if he did that, the Nine Tails would die, and the Hidden Stone would lose a great bejewel. But if this boy was right, if he indeed had something that could counter the Hiroshin, if he could become an ultimate weapon for the Hidden Stone, Onoki was thinking about the future possibilities. Something that might help his village in the long run. Something wonderful. Someone burst in the room. Tsuchikage-sama. As the man whispered something to Onoki, Onoki nodded as he looked towards Naruto. A minute later, the door opened up wide. As a red-haired girl came inside, it was Gaara, as she was carrying something large. While it was floating in the air, it was a sand cube. Onoki's eyes went wide, but he didn't realize that Kurotsuchi was inside because he saw her head on top of it. He thought her head was decapitated. The man was just about to lose it. As Naruto smiled, as Gaara smiled at him. Oh, this is Gaara, the holder of the Ichibai. Onoki's eyes light up at that. Another Jinchuriki, said Naruto. Yes, I see you're happy about that. Don't be ashamed to say it out loud. As Naruto walked over as Gaara placed Kurotsuchi down as the sand dispersed from around her, as she collapsed on the ground. Anvo came over and placed hand right at her neck. The man looked up towards Onoki and shook his head. Onoki's eyes turned murderous as he turned towards Naruto, ready to kill him. But Naruto raised a hand. Calm down, old man. She's not dead. I just had to put her in a state of death. Her heart is not beating, Onoki said. And that's because of me, said Naruto as he came over. He placed 2 fingers on her forehead and pulled them back. A black smoke seeped from her mouth and flooded into his body. Immediately, Kurotsuki's eyes snapped open as she looked around the room. The moment her eyes caught up with Naruto, she lashed out a fist that came towards his face, but it was blocked by a wall of sand. She brought her foot up that twist through the air that was blocked by a wall of sand. As the sand wrapped her on her leg, as Gaara raised her hand, but Naruto placed a hand on it. No, don't harm her, said Naruto. She's just a bit agitated. Come on. You already lost once. Do you want me to humiliate you again, said Naruto. You bastard, said Kurotsuchi as she pulled a kunai. Kurotsuchi, said Onoki. She turned. She didn't even notice her grandfather right there. Oh man, I hope you're not listening to this guy. Whatever he is, he's some kind of monster. Don't trust him. As Onoki narrowed his eyes at Naruto. So where does this leave you, he asks. You gave me what I wanted. As he said that, more ninjas flooded into the room. Why do I need you anymore, other than taking the beast from inside of you? As Naruto sighed, you people are really stupid, he said. Do you really want to attack me in here? Do you really want to fight me now, said Naruto. And why shouldn't we, said Kurotsuchi. Because I have the most powerful tail beast in history inside of me. And let me let you in on a bit of secret. We're more than good friends. So do you want me to decimate your village while you're attacking me? Or do you want us to come to an agreement, old man? You attack and kill my ninjas. Do you really expect me to forgive you for that? Well, I apologize, said Naruto, but I can do a simple mission for you to show you that I'm to be trustworthy. Onoki looked at him. Well, that's an interesting offer, he said. And what are you willing to do for that trust? Anything, said Naruto. As long as it don't involve Konoha, I'm not ready to handle that village yet. There are still plans that are set in motion. Onoki looked at Naruto with a smirk. Alright then, I have something I wanted to do. Oh man, said Kurotsuchi. Be quiet, Onoki said. As he looked towards Naruto. I want you to go in the village, in the Fire Nation border known as Tsunade, and level it down to the ground. Destroy everything around there. They have been keeping up business from my casinos here in the Land of Earth and taking away everything to Land of Fire. So I want you to destroy it. Not just one simple building, everything. And since you're not technically allied to us or anyone else, you'll just be doing it because you feel like it. Do that, and perhaps I'll listen to your proposal, Onoki said. And perhaps I'll forgive you for killing my ninjas. You want me to destroy a village? You don't mind if I kill everyone there as well, said Naruto. Do as you must, Onoki said, as long as you destroy that village down to the ground. Leave nothing standing. A big job for my first test, said Naruto. But I assure you it shall be done. As long as you don't go back on your word. You see, I kind of hate people that does something like that. And I might lose my mind if you do. And come here and really kill everyone here. That would be a rather horrendous sight. For the hidden stone to fall so suddenly. So old man, I'll do this for you. As long as you keep your word. Onoki simply looked at Naruto. It's you the one that should keep your word. Because you're a monster. You're hard to be trusted. Oh, I'm not offended by that. I know that I am rather dark. Something I like about myself. And my wonderful girl here, said Naruto, as he placed an arm around Gaara. As that just made her smile. But I'll do what you ask. Well, friends can do friends a favor, said Naruto. So, tell me, where is this Tsunade? Meanwhile, at Tsunade, Tsunade was in the village. She was having a terrible headache. The reason being, it was seeing these two again. Of course she knew Kushina. Kushina was always at her grandmother's side. Before she passed along, before she transferred 9 Tails to her. They were related, but it was some far distant thing by Senjutsu and Uzumaki, but not so close. They spoke when she was in the village. Kushina had begged her, had pleaded with her to stay. But Tsunade decided to leave the village. She had just lost too much to stay behind. So much was taken away from her, she just couldn't stay there anymore. Kushina had begged her to stay. She wanted her to be the godchild for her children. But Tsunade had left, without even a notice the other day. It had really angered Kushina. So Tsunade didn't believe that Kushina would ever talk to her again for what she did. So this was a rather surprising turn of events. As she was sitting in the booth as the two of them came to sit down, her perverted teammate and Kushina. It was awkward. Tsunade wasn't that drunk to not notice them because they're right in front of her. She wasn't that drunk to ignore them either. Kushina just stared at her. Well, I see you haven't changed, said Kushina. Shizune was also over to the side. She knew Kushina as well, as the woman didn't seem to have anything against her. But she gave her a small smile, but yet when she looked at Tsunade, her face turned into a frown. Well, you haven't changed that much either, said Tsunade. Well, it's just because of natural youth. I'm not using some genjutsu to hide my true figure, Kushina said. As Jiraiya wanted to laugh at that, seeing someone actually talking back to Tsunade as he pleased, without Tsunade threatening to pummel them into the ground. It was a rather good sight for him to laugh at, but he knew if he did she was gonna beat him down to the ground. So he kept his mouth shut. I'm gonna let you get away with that one. Let me get away. What are you gonna do? You've been gallivanting around the elemental nation for so long now. I don't even think that you're as strong as you are. I believe I could take you down with a simple flick of my wrist, Kushina said. As that made Tsunade laugh. Yet she actually laughed. It's been so long since I had a good laugh, she said. Tell me, why are you guys here? It's time for you to come back. I thought, after all these years, that you would see it in your heart that you should stay somewhere where your families are. Family? Yes, despite everything, we're a family. You can't change that, no one can. I thought you would come here to stay and find where your families are, to be with us, but no, you did not. You stay on the road, continuing your drunken gallivant, but now it's over. And you're gonna force me to come back, if I have to. But this was a direct order from Minato. Oh, so the Hokage is finally forcing my hand, she said. And what if I choose not to? The kids in the hospital need your help, said Kushina. A lot of them has been poisoned by an unknown poison, and the medics we have just don't got it. We need your help. Unknown poison, said Tsunade. You heard about my... Yes, I heard about your son. I heard everything. It is quite popular news around the elemental nation right now. Everyone is talking about it. The boy that was able to survive the wrath of Minato Namikaze and destroy a part of the village and simply walked out. He's quite famous. You screwed the pooch on that one. Kushina looked down and suddenly looked coming on her face. Look. I know that you were sad after everyone passed away, and that you've been through a lot, but all of us have. It's time that you come home. I don't want to sound insensitive about what I just said, but we need you. We really do. We can't do it without you, and all of those kids, those poor innocent kids that did nothing at all of them are gonna die if you don't do something. Tsunade looked down, her mind weighing on the option. She couldn't. That village had took so much from her, she had refused to go back there for years. But as she looked at Kushina, the one that she thought that would never give her a second chance, that would ever talk to her again, and hearing about those kids that were gonna die if she didn't do anything, her mind started to change a bit. Shizune was hoping that she accepted because Shizune missed the village. Yes, she missed it a lot. Before Tsunade could say anything, a scream erupted from someone's throat outside. Blam! The window to their left exploded as someone was violently thrown through it, smashing in the bar. As Jiraiya saw the person's head, it was split open. A wave of sand crashed inside of the bar as the four of them moved instantly, fleeing the bar. As they got outside, it started chaos, panic. Screams could be heard everywhere as chaos was going on all around them. What the hell is this? Said Shizune as she looked around. Everything was just so calm a moment ago. As Kushina couldn't feel anything, she was confused. Kushina was a great sensor, an incredible one, yet she couldn't feel anything. Tsunade-sama? As Tsunade wasn't talking. It was then that Shizune turned to see why. As there was a wall of darkness at the edge of the village. Pristine darkness that was just hovering there. Jiraiya looked towards that. He felt a bad feeling and a tremble run down his spine. Meanwhile, in front of that darkness stood Naruto with a smile on his face. Behind him was the army. He didn't bring all of them. It was just an army of crazy men, as they all had strange blades in their hand, different than Hinata's sight. Some of them had Onoki, some of them had Tontos, some of them had a one-edged sight, with a one sharp blade on it that curved like a reaper. Alright people, said Naruto as he turned towards them. All of them were smiling devilishly. Kill everyone, said Naruto, as they rushed past him with a haunting scream of the mad, running towards the village. Tsunade heard her eyes. What the hell is this? She heard the screams as one of them broke forward as he swung his sight straight towards Shizune, coming towards the group. Jiraiya intercepted as he slammed his foot right in the man's face with so much power, his body broke right through the bar, breaking to the other side. But to Jiraiya's utter shock, the man picked up himself and shrugged it off like it was nothing. Despite the blood seeping from his nose that was leaned to the side like it was completely broken, the man jumped forward as he swung his sight at them. Kushina chains moved out as he pierced right through the man. He was clearly a mad psychopath. One of her chains ripped right through the man's heart, ending his life. Yet the man laughed as she was shocked. He's alive. As he simply laughed as he swung his sight towards her face. Tsunade jumped in the way as she blocked it, using a powerful punch that smashed her face against the sight, obliterating it. The man's eyes turned murderous. I'll kill you for that, you bitch, he said as he clawed and tried to bite after her, but Kushina's chains held him at bay until a wall of sand came crashing down, forcing the four to jump back, freeing the man. Go find somewhere else. I'll handle this, a voice said. Kushina's eyes widened as she heard the voice. Why, hello there, mother. She froze. She slowly turned her head. Standing there was Naruto. I see you're here to gather the... He looked at Tsunade. I know you. You're the other one of the Sanin. You know, something did catch my attention in school. Something that really threw me for a loop. Hanzo the Salamander gave you guys a nickname Sanins after he defeated you. I don't understand that. I mean, you were pathetic enough to lose. So how did that make much sense? Why do people fear you? As Naruto turned as he heard the swirling sound of a Rasengan. Oh, that's why. Jiraiya slammed the Rasengan right into his chest. He did not hesitate. Jiraiya made a vow to himself if he could stop Minato, Kushina, Mito, and Menma from receiving the pain of killing someone a part of their family. Despite everything, Naruto was still a son and brother to them. So if he could stop them from feeling that pain, he would, by ending Naruto himself. That is why he did not hesitate to drive the Rasengan into Naruto's chest. The thing twists and turned as the rippling effect exploded outwards, blowing Naruto away as he crashed into a nearby wall, breaking into it. As Kushina's eyes went wide as she turned, he lay there, unmoving. Blood started to seep from Naruto's chest, until he picked himself up like nothing happened, as he cracked his neck. As I was saying, you guys really didn't deserve your fame. I mean, you were given a name by someone who defeated you. That's rather pathetic. How are you still standing? Said Tsunade. Oh, it seems they haven't told you about me, said Naruto. Well, I guess you guys wouldn't know. But it doesn't matter. I suggest you guys leave this place. I'm not ready to kill any more Konoha ninja yet. And you think we're gonna let you do that? You think we're gonna let you leave once we have you once again, said Jiraiya. As Naruto turned towards the man. I've never really spoken to you in more than the common sense of when I was captured and placed in interrogation. So please, don't act like you can talk to me as you feel. I hate you, and the rest of that worthless, pathetic family back there. And I am your enemy. I don't want to hear like you can bring me back or like crap. Because as everything stands, you cannot bring me back. I would never let you, said Naruto. As Shizune noticed something with his blood. It was forming a circle on the ground. Tsunade-sama, look. As the circle fell in, showing utter darkness at the end of it. Hey, said Naruto, looking down into the bottomless hole. There's some carnage. I need you guys to dish out. As a scream A scream that chilled all of their bones could be heard as a hand emerged. The hand looked demonic with claws on the tips. It was dark brown as a creature pulled itself from the earth. The thing had 3 heads. It was large as it pulled its entire body out. It was the size of a small house, a 1-story house. It had 2 red eyes, 3 heads. One of the heads were frowning, seemingly angry. The other one looked sad, while the other one looked happy. A twisted smile that made it look like a psychopath. As Naruto looked towards it, the creature that looked like death and carnage itself, it had strange black lines running across its body. It had one single tail behind it. "You like it," said Naruto. "I was the one that put this together, different from the other tormenting souls that I place where I place them," said Naruto. The group didn't know what the hell he was talking about. "I think of it as my summon." "Well, the crows are like my summons as well," said Naruto. "It's a wonderful word, Naruto," said Jashin. "Yes, it really is," said Ikayube. "I mean, you did create on your own." The both of them gave him his praise. "Yes, I think so as well," said Naruto. "Now go," said Naruto. "Cause as much chaos as possible as the thing leaped over Jiraiya's head, dashing towards the buildings, breaking them down one by one, ripping through people as it did. Kushina Chain shot forward to grab onto Naruto as a wall of sand blocked it. As Gaara landed right beside Naruto. "And who's this?" asked Tsunade. "None of your business," said Naruto. "Now, why don't you guys get the hell out of here?" Kushina, with a poof, unsealed her blade. She pointed towards Naruto. "I'm sorry, but I can't. I have to stop you." "Oh mother," said Naruto. "Seems you don't learn. Do you really want to fight me now?" said Naruto, his eyes becoming darker than they were. "Do you really want me to go back to Konoha and inform your precious husband and your precious kids that I ripped your heart out?" Kushina felt that tremble went down her spine, but she kept herself still. "That won't happen," said Jiraiya as he stepped forward. "I'll be the one to take you down." As Naruto sighed, "Oh, you guys might want not to stay here for too longer," said Naruto, as he pointed. The people that remained, the black smoke started to fill their lungs. They dropped to the ground coughing, screaming in agony. "That's much worse than what I did to the kids at Konoha. Who's gonna die anywhere from today if you don't get there? But I'm sure that your organs will fail first." Kushina gripped her blade as Naruto simply smiled. The darkness was spreading. "Kushina, we have to go," said Jiraiya. "We can't," she said. "We have to stop him." "We have to go," Jiraiya said. He had to make a choice right here. The kids at Konoha were gonna die, and he couldn't afford to let that happen. So many innocent kids that didn't deserve this. As he looked over towards Tsunade, he was dead serious. Tsunade simply nodded, as she was gonna help them. Shizune looked towards Naruto. The smoke was coming from him. She would have voiced that, but if she did, she knew that Kushina would want to stay and stop her son. So she kept her mouth shut about that. Kushina grit her teeth as she watched a countless slaughter on her. "You can't save everyone, Mom. The children are these people." "They'll run out of time," said Naruto, as Kushina glared at him. A rather hateful glare. "You are no longer my son, and I will stop you." You hesitated there. "Are you still thinking that you can save me somehow?" said Naruto, as she simply ran off, with the group running off as well. Jiraiya stopped though as he watched him run off. As he looked back at Naruto, "You won't win. You will never break Konoha," he said. "Let's see about that. When I carve out your eyeballs and feed them to you." "It's a promise," said Naruto. "I will be the one to take you down, not them," said Jiraiya. He made sure the group was far enough away so Naruto wouldn't try something sneaky as a sneak attack. "Do you really want to stay here for so long?" said Naruto. "I mean, I could have some of my men go after them." Or, as Naruto whistled, as the beast crashed down beside him. Jiraiya got ready, as Naruto simply smirked. "When I do kill you, I'm gonna parade your head around, so that everyone will know, but it's not today." Jiraiya cursed as he had to go, moving off quickly back to Konoha. As he couldn't stay here for much longer, the darkness was seeping in, and he didn't have enough time to stop that right now. He had to get back quickly. He didn't know how longer the kids have as he bit his thumb and slammed his hand down, summoning a toad. He had to fast charge it back to Konoha as there was a big poof. Meanwhile, Kushina gripped on towards the Hiroshi kunai in her pouch. She should have used this, but she was afraid. And also, there was a part of her. As Minato, she didn't want him to... Damn it, she cursed herself. As they ran back to Konoha, as Naruto stood in the midst of the chaos, a bloody smile on his face. It's done, said Gaara. She walked up beside him. As Naruto turned towards her, with a happy smile he stepped forward. As he saw blood splattered across her face, it made him happy. As she moved closer to him, as she kissed him, taking the initiative, as he kissed her back. The both of them kissing romantically in the chaos and destruction that they caused of wiping out the village. But guys, will be in subscribe right here. I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.